Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Majo to Yajuu episode 7, in which we will continue our story of trying to save Helga, I would assume. The last week Majo to Yajuu did not release. They had a break because I believe some Japanese holiday or something, but we are back with it. And I really wonder where the story is going to go. In the previous episode, Ashaf and Guido arrived to a new city with a new task. That task being trying to secure and procure Helga Velvet, the owner of a demonic talking sword. It's complicated though, because the paladins are also here, and they very much do not want to secure Helga or her sword, they just want to eradicate them, because that's what the paladins do, as opposed to Ashaf and Guido's order, who, sure, if a witch is bad, they're gonna eradicate her, of course, but if she can be useful, like Fanora, maybe she wants to join. Who knows, right? The whole city is cordoned off by a magical barrier. Paladins are in a floating castle led by Meguca. There's also that weird, priest dude who has something shady about him. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's it gonna be, but he's 100% shady. And he's either gonna try to stab the paladins in the back at the last moment, or he's working with some other witch, or with some other organization, or something about him is iffy. That's for sure. Ashaf and Guido managed to find Helga, managed to secure her for a moment. Ashaf even catches her into a Pokeball. Unfortunately, she frees herself thanks to the power of the sword. She herself is not that strong, but the sword is. The sword has the potential to, like, destroy the world, from what we hear. Although he really doesn't seem to be the type to do that, he mostly just seems like a mentor to Helga, which is fun, which is a very fun relation. Helga denies the help, runs away, and Ashaf seeks Guido on her. What else? I really liked how Guido just obliged, right? Like, she wants to get rid of the curse, and she wants to find the witches and defeat and destroy the witches, yes, but she's not blinded by it. She knows that Helga would be too weak to be able to curse her, so it's probably not her. So might as well do the bidding of our organization and capture her and help her, instead of, trying to destroy her for no reason at all. Right, that all leads us to where Guido does find Helga. Unfortunately, Meguca finds Helga at the same time, and Guido has to fight Matt now. Guido probably, together with Helga, they're gonna have to, buddy up and fight Matt, and Matt seems strong, so it's gonna be an interesting fight, I would presume. Yeah, I think that sums it up. What do I expect from today's episode? Well, the fight, of course. Perhaps a successful extraction of Helga. We don't know how many arcs how many episodes this particular arc is gonna have. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see all about it in this episode, but to do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 7 of Majo to Yajuu in 3, 2, 1, go! Huh? We have seen that in the previous episode. What's going on? Here, have a bone. I guess we rolled back time a little bit. Okay, explanation about the paladins. Flashback explanation. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Explanation. Okay, I really was confused for a moment there, but thankfully. And I see my camera is flickering, so there we go. That should fix it. All right. So, while we are watching the opening, a little bit of self-promotion. There's a poll running on. There's gonna be a video maybe somewhere in the cards. You're gonna see it linked. If not, it's on the channel. It's on my Discord. I finished watching Madoka Magica with Maja Record, and I need another non-seasonal show to watch. So there's a poll, and you can pick one of 7 shows that I selected. You can vote on them, and I'm gonna watch them. So all the details in that video, and on Patreon, and on Discord as well. So if that's something you're interested in, you can do it. Is my camera still flickering? I'm watching you. I think it's fine. Maybe like a lot of movement creates flickering? No? Beats me. Okay, let's see the fight. Act 2, okay, so not the final act, we get at least one more episode out of it. Motherfucker's still flickering. Oh, is Ashap advising her through the crows? Yeah. Fair. And yeah, Helga is our target, so we do have to protect her. Oh? Yeah, exactly, to that Ikemen. She has a type, I guess. She's gonna escape herself, probably. How are you going to fare, Guido? Not well. Oh, did you decide to fight, or... No, not quite. She's persistent, if nothing else. Exactly. Guido's not easy to defeat. Weapon? Oh, the brass knuckles. Get frozen. I guess Helga chiseled her way to freedom. Big ice icicle. More than an icicle. A whole ass fucking floating island. Well, there goes the city. Elemental. Huh, you mean like he uses the power of an elemental? He has a pact with one? Yep. I really like how the magic system in this world keeps expanding and expanding, right? We started with just witches and Ashaf's order. Then we have demonic swords. Then we have elementals, right? And be fast about it. Oh, I guess you want to be handled by Matt. Interesting. Why? Oh, she keeps her sword powers, though. Right, her powers don't stem from the sword, after all. There we go. I was about to say don't announce your attacks, but... Whomst? Oh, I guess another paladin? I mean, you're fighting a beast after all. Beasts are known for their strength. Is Guido gonna use the sword now? Pull the sword out. Or just throw it away, sure. Oh, you could see the switch between blurry, zoomed out scene into a scene with like full resolution. That was interesting. Because she has your sword? Maybe. Not gonna be easy, I suspect. Yeah. Another icicle? A blizzard this time. Or more like an avalanche. Yes, actually. Oh, a helicopter sword. Okay. It's useful. You gotta admit that. Damn. Is that the elemental? That's a big one. Turn around for starters. You know, just an idea. Backstory on Helga. She doesn't have the sword thingamajigs yet. Well, shit. And all of the people that she met. Curious how that happens, isn't it? Yeah. Why would the priest want to frame her? I'm assuming it was the priest because he's the shadiest person around. Double sealed. Armor? What do you mean armor? Oh, like literal armor. Okay, so it's like dimeridium. That's a lot of crows. Let's see what Ashaf can do. He didn't really have a chance to, like, you know, fully let loose yet, I feel. Can't Guido just snap this armor open with her physical strength alone? Oh, he managed to move the smoke from his hand to his mouth, at least. That's good. Yes, actually. And she has a way to remain unseen. Meanwhile, Helga is not strong enough to taunt you. Yeah, blame it on the witch and you don't need anything more. Demonic swords tend to be quite strong, aren't they? It's going to... Yes. Yeah, my precious. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all fighting for their precious. She's not a mere human. We don't know, actually. We know vaguely that she's a beast, but not much more. Of course, the priest is here. Allow me to take the sword. Yeah, the priest wants the sword. Yeah, the priests. Ah, not just any priest, an executioner. What's with his right arm? So you need to be purged. Create? What do you mean? Mind control? Mind control. Okay, so I guess his right hand is a forbidden instrument. Another new term that we learn. Yeah, and exactly. Too late. Everybody's dead. Oh, and what is that? The executioner? No, the second in command. Huh. And she doesn't seem to be mind controlled. Interesting. And yeah, the strongest magic, just a bullet to the head. And he has long hair, apparently. I mean, yeah, he does. I don't know why I thought he has short hair. I guess she gives the short hair energy, you could say. Or you can kiss Guido and everything's gonna be daijoubu. How does a girlfriend sound? I guess kissing is not gonna be easy with the mouth thing. Somehow I don't think it's gonna work. Or Helga's gonna feel heroic. Yeah. If he's gonna be drawn anyway, might as well be by a witch who might have some modicum of control over it. Or that could also be your thinking, sure. Are you sure about that, though? Are you sure that they don't know how to draw it? Oh, and there goes the armor. Yeah, probably. Probably not. The best spell, kick. That's not the title of the show. The title of the show is The Witch and the Beast. Watch. Guido, if you would. There's the glass. And heroic entrance. Maybe not. Maybe next episode. That was a good episode. That was a very good episode. Also, worth noting, everybody stayed on model this time around. I see a lot of Korean names in the credits. I would assume that's the outsourced part, isn't it? South Korea has a lot of animation outsourcing studios. Western animations outsource their animation to Korea. Anime outsources their animation to Korea. Unfortunately, some of those studios aren't the best at keeping characters on model. You can see that in Steven Universe, for example. You can see it in the previous episode of Majo to Yajuu. This episode was much better, though. Like, arts-wise, because contents-wise, both are good. But when it comes to the art and the, consistency of the art, this one wins. Ah, the beast comes out. Act 3, not a final act yet. Huh. A bit of a longer arc we're having, aren't we? Alright, I'm very much down. Let's watch it again, shall we? Yes, we shall, of course. I really was confused at the beginning with this. Sorry. I really thought that maybe I started episode 6 by mistake, or like episode 6 midway through, or maybe the last episode I watched was episode 5, really, and I skipped one, or maybe it's a compilation. I don't know. I really was confused by this. But yeah, it's just a little bit of anachronistic storytelling, and we learn some details about the paladins. I love how Guido loves bones. That's such a fun detail about her character. You really have no interest in anything but witches? I mean, yeah, you could say that. Armies rely on strength in numbers, not the paladins, though. Their strength is based on individual prowess. And Matt Kuga It's one of the strongest. Try not to fight him. Alas. This is the first time we see Ashaf communicate with Guido through the crows, and again I was a little bit confused. Is it the sword communicating with Guido? But no, it's Ashaf because crows. Always hide your ace in a hole until all the cards are down. Right, we wouldn't want to kill Kuga this early with your beast form because Kuga might be useful later on. Right? So Ashaf really seems like this mastermind type. He's playing 4D chess while everybody else is playing checkers. and it's great. I love how absolutely nothing comes off as a surprise to him, how he's prepared for absolutely everything. You could argue that it makes him a little bit overpowered, Gary Stewish maybe. No, not really. I really like him. I really like how his power doesn't lie in him just, casting Zolthrak left and right, but rather in his head. If he can avoid fighting and do some diplomacy, he's going to do it. Absolutely he is. I like it. I like that Guido is the brawn and Ashaf is the brains. Huh, that guy from before. That hot guy from before. That's what you wanted to say, Helga. I guess Ashaf's gonna have an admirer. And yeah, I can keep him busy and you run away. Again, I really like that Guido still very much doesn't like witches. But Helga is not the witch that she would target, so reluctantly she's going to save her. I really like Guido's and Helga's dynamic and how it changes throughout the episode, how it grows, right? How Helga is ready to just ditch Guido initially, and later on she's like, save me, right? And saves Guido with her helicopter and stuff like that. I like it. Yeah, get frozen. You're not even a witch. How do you fire spells without moving? Because of the elemental. That weapon in your right hand, I completely forgot about her brass knuckles, and I was wondering, what weapon? Does she have, enchanted bones in her hand? Is she made based on an enchanted skeleton? Is her right arm a weapon in itself, or what's going on there? But no, it's the magical brass knuckles. Is it the secret to your superhuman strength? No. No, actually. It's just Guido being Guido. Witches don't die easily, and yeah, that's not an icicle. I expected a ice boulder to fall on her, or a column of ice, or an icicle or something. I did not expect a whole ass fucking floating island. Holy shit. He's strong. Yeah, it is stunning what an elemental can do. He is a human, but he made a pact, indeed. Surprisingly little destruction around with such a huge thing dropping from the sky. Also, my entire outlook on Ashgan changed. It really did. I initially, in the previous episode, I kind of treated him as the sword dad in the sword isekai that I also watched on the channel, where he's like a mentor to Helga and a little bit of an adoptive parent, and he's playing this sort of role. No, he's a demonic sword, actually. He doesn't care about who wields it as long as he is wielded. Ideally, someone strong wields him, but, beggars can be choosers. And here happens someone strong, Matt, and hell yeah, I want to be wielded by that guy, not by this weak-ass witch. Huh, interesting. Guido. And yeah, Guido is strong. Even without her brass knuckles, without her second body. I fully expected Guido to take the sword out here. I fully expected her to unseal it, and to just cut down Matt, cut down his second in command. I really fully did. But no, all throughout this episode, and I expected Guido to pull the sword out many times still, it didn't happen. Interesting. And just threw it away, yeah. And uses it as a bait for Helga, which makes perfect sense. I love this. It's a sword helicopter. I guess it makes sense, right? Helicopter rotors have blades, and she's a blade witch, so of course she would be able to create a rotor and fly, right? I wonder if she has control over blades of grass. Although that probably only works in English, doesn't it? I don't think grass blades are called grass blades in Japanese, so I don't know. But are helicopter rotor thingamajigs called blades in Japanese? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Or maybe she's just using like 4 swords simply angled precisely to create lift. That could also be it. Never call them puny again. Right, of course she has complexes about her flat chest. And that's a biggest elemental. That looks like... That looks good. That looks like some sort of a CG particle effect, but also it looks really good. It doesn't look like CG monster because it's so fuzzy and so many... I really like the look of this monster. I really do. Pontever, and we get a backstory on Helga. Perfectly safe city. I'm trying to figure out if there's someone maybe always in the background. Some like recurring character. But no, it doesn't seem to be the case. I fully expected to see the priest around maybe or someone. But no. No, it's just Helga having fun in her perfect city and then everybody she met just fucking dying. Conveniently by a blade. And yeah, not Ashgan. Armor hits pressure points that restrict the release of magical energy. I really find it interesting how... I talked about it in regards to food, but this is also a good opportunity. I really find it interesting how Japanese culture just permeates anime, even if it's based on Europe. I talked about it regarding food, how you would have, I know, King of England having a feast, or a British family or a German family having some dinner, and instead of it being one food with a piece of meat, some potatoes, and some salad, it's Japanese style 17 different plates in front of everybody, right? I really find it interesting how that sticks around. Everything else can be modeled around Europe, but when it comes to food, you gotta have your separate bowl for soup, separate bowl for this, separate bowl for that, 3 different plates, right? And this is also similar. It's like kind of sort of based on Europe, on like witches that come mostly from European folklore and stuff like that. And yet you have those like pressure points. You have this like Chinese, Japanese acupressure, stuff like that, that blocks the flow of magic through your chakras, which is so distinctly not European. I fully expected those armor to be just enchanted with anti-magic magic, or be made of a special metal that blocks magic. That's a very common thing, right? How do you tie a fae so that it doesn't escape? You use an iron chain, because they really don't like iron, right? Metal is very significant. Silver against werewolves, stuff like that. No, it's acupressure points that block the flow of your chakras. I really find it interesting how that happens, how this Japanese culture just permeates everything. The perfect restraining device for witches. Unfortunately, Guido is not a witch. Guido is not a witch, so not gonna work that well. And here comes Asha. As always, completely nonplussed about anything, completely calm and collected, using diplomacy and trying to get Matt to his side. I really like him. I really like his approach to all of that. His eyes are a little bit bulging here, but that's excusable. Have a good eye for people, and yeah, Matt, you would probably be able to listen to a well-made point. And isn't it, surprising, concerning that a witch has an infinite amount of ways to kill a human? She has an infinite amount of ways to not be detected while doing so. And here, a witch used her signature power to kill people in broad daylight with witnesses. Why would she do that? Why would she put so much attention on her? Like, sure, if she was taunting you with confidence, if she was a powerful witch, yeah, it might make sense. She's throwing you a challenge, but Helga isn't powerful. She would not be doing that. So why would she? Witches, yeah, fear of them may have lessened, but it remains rooted in society. So what is a better, whatchamacallit? There's a specific word for it. In Polish, it's kozioł ofiarny. Let me translate that. I'm missing the English word. Sorry for that. Polish to English. Kozioł ofiarny, scapegoat. Yeah, witches make for perfect scapegoats. You say a witch did it. Nobody asks questions because, of course, witches are evil. Of course, witches would steal candy. Of course, they would kill people. Of course, they would throw in pollution into a river. It's not our dyeing company, no. It's the witch who poisoned the river, Mayor, sir. Perfect excuse, isn't it? And people believe it because people subconsciously want it to be the witch's fault. They want to be prejudiced towards witches. Framing a witch for a crime is simple. You don't need hard evidence because people will just pick it up. It's a chance to blame the witch, so let's blame her. He's right, and Matt knows that he's right. And yeah, it was unlikely that a little bit of ice would be able to steal the sword. And of course, it would have influence over puny humans around, although supposedly the paladins are like the best of the best, and yet Ashgan can still control them. So how strong is Ashgan, right? I assume a witch is able to resist that pull, and people who are stronger than the regular troops of the paladins, like the priest, for example. But regular ground troops, not strong enough. Once it takes hold, temptation spreads like ripples, and everybody fights with each other. Of course, has no impact on Guido, because Guido is not quite human herself. And of course, the priest was shady. I still don't quite get his motivation. Does he want the sword, or does he want to get rid of the witch? Or both? Could be both. He's not doing it for his own gain, though. He still works for the organization, right? For the executioners, who were supposedly rooted out and kind of sort of replaced by paladins, but still work somewhere in the underground, but they still are an organization. This group targets all witches, good and evil alike. Yeah, they don't distinguish. Not like Ashaf's organization, not like the paladins, who are dispatched only if the witch is evil and needs to be destroyed and taken out of the picture. The executioners just execute all of the witches. And they're not afraid to use forbidden instruments and all sorts of dark magic and shit to do that. as opposed to paladins, who have some sort of a moral code, right? First, move out all of the civilians. Then secure the area so that nobody can get in, nobody can get out. There is a protocol to that. There is a procedure. There is the limiting human casualties, right? Executioners, no, they just swoop in, destroy the witch, and if there are civilians in their way, well, they're gonna make for great minions. Mind control, mind control, mind control, right? All according to Keikaku. I can create loyal soldiers who won't fall under the demon sword's influence because they are already under some sort of mind control, so they're not going to be mind controlled again. Cool detail, I noticed. Those people, they look exactly the same, except they actually have different head shapes and different skin tones. That's some nice attention to detail. Huh. Like, they're supposed to be uniform, right? They're supposed to look the same, but there is subtle differences between their head shapes. It's cool. With this forbidden instrument. The executioners epitomize the Dark Ages. Do you really believe that someone who came into power would relinquish that power easily? Of course not. They still exist, simply in the underground. They're hiding. And they're hiding from the history books as well. I can prove it's just a speculation, but didn't that one very specific thing that happened to you happen to you? Of course it did. Can't connect with the command center. And this is the first time that Ashaf is surprised. Right? He always has full control of the situation. He always knows exactly what to do, exactly what to say, exactly how things are going to go. He did not predict this. Huh. Which is really interesting, because Matt is like, Matt, whatever. He might be a victim very well. But shooting Ashaf, though, assuming Ashaf didn't expect that, he probably would not have any protections in place. But I also very much doubt that he's dead. So what's gonna happen? I wonder. He always planned to dispose of you, made you harder for the executioners to make use of. So I guess she was working for the executioners from the get-go. She was a mole in the Paladins. Goodbye, sir. And he burns. We don't know if he burns fully, or if someone saves him. Maybe Ashaf ex machina. Maybe something's gonna happen here. Probably, I would assume. We'll see. We don't know, though, because we cut away from here to Helga and Guido. And yeah, the mind control, of course, doesn't work on her. And look how quickly the demon sword is flip-flopping, right? Oh no, I don't want you anymore, Helga. I have a new master now. He's much stronger. Please take me. And now he's like, oh, Helga, please, please take me. Please, I beg of you, right? He's really opportunistic. He's not a mentor. He's not a parent. The moment someone stronger than Helga appears in a picture who would be willing to unsheath him, he's going to jump to that person. Absolutely. He does make a good point, though. It's only a matter of fact that I'm unleashed now, and I might be unleashed by a rando, or I could be unleashed by you. So I'd rather you do it, and I believe you'd rather you do it as well. I fully expected her to do it. I fully expected Guido to jump out and do it. But no. Helga has steeled herself for death. I'm just going to sacrifice myself. I'm just going to die. Because that means they're not gonna find a way to unleash the sword. And that's not how I wanted to fulfill my purpose of protecting it and sealing it away, but if it is the way it is, then I have no choice. My duty is above all else. I don't want to go out like this, but I have to, right? Thankfully, Guido is here. Not a human, thankfully. But also not quite inhuman enough to save Helga. And I really like how their relationship evolved over time. Right? Like, you could say that Guido says, like, oh, you're just my target, you're just my word, I just have to protect you because my job tells me to. But there is that, like, little bit of a string between them that starts appearing. Right? Helga trusting in Guido, asking her for help. Guido saying that, yeah, I'm gonna come and help you, trust in me, right? I like it. I like how their relationship grew. Then rescue me. Yeah. If bringing me back is your job, keep the sword safe and rescue me. I expected at any moment now for Guido to appear, especially after this glass shatters. I fully expected Guido to be just jumping back in and throwing the glass inside of the building. Fully expected to see two boots just plop down on the ground and it's Guido with the sword unsheathed, for example, or in her beast form. Although there was no witch to kiss, so she wouldn't be able to turn, but you know what I mean. I expected something. But no, it seems like Helga probably has been controlled by the priest. And we get a little bit of a preview. Ace in the hole, yeah, Guido's true form. Act 3. Interesting that this arc is going to be at least 4 episodes now. No other arc was this long. They were like 2-3 episodes tops. This one is longer. Cool. Cool. I very much like where the story is going. I really do. There we go. There we go. That was episode 7 of Majo to Yajuu, and I very much enjoyed it. I very much did. This world and this story just seems to be opening up so much. As I said, we started with just witches, right? Witches are a thing, and they can be good, they can be evil, and our main characters are dealing with those witches. Simple enough concept. And then we introduce grimoires, and it complicates things because even non-witches and non-mages can use magic with grimoires. We expand the world, we expand the magic system. Then we introduce what was next? Necromancy as a thing and laws around necromancy. We know that the magic is also legalized. It's not existing in like a gray area anywhere. It's not in the realm of mythology. It exists. It's codified. There are laws around it. There is probably like, you know, you cannot cast a fireball larger in diameter than 50 centimeters within 1 kilometer of the city hall, or right, similar laws like that. There probably are in place. You cannot, I don't know, keep Mandragora without proper certification, and I love it. And it expanded the magic system in the world even more. Then we learn about magic swords, demon swords. Then we learn about the paladins. Now we learn about the elementals. It keeps expanding. It keeps growing, and I really enjoy it. I really like that everything wasn't just dumped at us at the same time, but instead we slowly introduce it. One new mechanic, one new magic thing, one new expansion, one new DLC to the magic system per arc. And it really seems like now we are entering the like full story, so to speak. We know all, or at least most of the mechanics, we know most of the world, most of the magic. Now we can start telling longer stories, longer arcs, because they are no longer introductory to those mechanics. It's cool, and I really wonder where this show is going to go. And I'm honestly really hoping for a season 2, because I have a feeling that I have a feeling that as this season ends, the world would still not be like fully expanded, or maybe we will end this episode with the world fully expanded and fully uncovered, and then the second season would tell us stories in this like fully uncovered world, and that would be a little bit of a different experience, and it would also be really, really cool. I'm glad to see art consistency back on the table in this episode. I have no clue what happened in the previous one, but I'm glad we're back to form. A couple of odd faces here and there, but that could be chucked up to like fisheye camera and just weird, not weird, experimental and unique angles. But certainly nothing like in the previous episode. So that's good. That's very good. I wonder if it was thanks to a little bit more time that they had with this episode, or the previous episode maybe had less time. I don't know. I'm not an insider in the industry, so I wouldn't know anything about it. I very much enjoyed this episode. I like where it's going. It keeps me on edge. It really keeps me worried about Ashav, worried about Matt, worried about Helga. And I rarely, if ever, am worried about main characters, because I usually just hand wave it like, oh yeah, plot armor, so of course nothing's gonna happen to them. I guess it's a little bit like that with Ashav. Like, I really don't think Ashav is going to die. I really think he's going to survive somehow. I really don't think Guido is going to die either. Helga, Matt, that's still up in the air. We'll see though. We will see in the next episode, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I really, really did. But did you guys? Did you enjoy this episode? Did you enjoy my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? What did you think of them? Tell me all about it in the comments down below. Like this video if you did. Subscribe to be notified of future releases, not only Majo to Yajuu, but also Freer and Shangri-La Frontier. Magia record has already finished, but something new will be coming in its place, so stay subscribed to see what. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do sometimes support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record and others. For $5 you can decide what those others will be. And for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can support me on YouTube directly as well via memberships, super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, Survivor, Zayrene, Dr. Watt, Akamancer, Marshik, Alive, Pastel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to suffer frostburn.